Hey, good morning to all you wonderful YouTubers. Hey, thanks for joining my channel, the Virginia Bushcrafter. I appreciate you taking some time out of your day just to come out here and enjoy Mother Nature with me. But as you know, my channel is all about bushcrafting, prepping, and survival skills for the wilderness. So sometimes I come out here just for relaxation and just to enjoy Mother Nature. And majority of the time I come out here with a specified task. And I have a specified task today. And that task is a survival shelter kit. Yes, a survival shelter kit. Now that's going to consist of shelter, bedding, and a fire. Those are the basic things you need to survive in the bush. Now with that, of course, there's always, of course, with shelter, fire, water, food, navigation, first aid, signaling. All of that is built around shelter, bedding, and a fire. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to immediately start with a shelter. And this shelter is going to be a convertible shelter in which we can make a lean-to with an apron. We can then turn it into an A-frame if necessary, and from there to a Forrester tent. So let's get started. All right, guys, as I mentioned, the survival shelter kit. I'm starting off with the shelter. But what I want to show you real quick, again, this shelter is going to be a lean-to with an apron. It's going to become an A-frame, and then it's going to become a Forrester, which is an enclosed tarp shelter. So what I want to show you is a new knot that I learned, but I do not remember the name of this knot. So guys, in the comments, if you are familiar with this knot, hey, let me know. So let me bring you in close here. Let me just make sure that you can see this. What I'm doing, I'm bringing the working end all the way around, and I'm just taking it, the working end, I'm going to put it underneath the standing end, and then I'm just going to, let's just bring you in a little closer here. Okay, so the working end around the standing end and just 7 loops. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that's basic. Let's see if you can see it. That's all I did. And you just pull it together, making sure that it is on the bark of the tree. Raise this up somewhat. It is on the bark of the tree. And this knot is not going anywhere. So again, guys, constantly improve on learning your knots. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the other end and make a trucker's hitch. But again, guys, if you are familiar with this knot, let me know in the comments. Thank you. All right, guys, so again, now on this end, I'm going to put the trusted trucker's hitch. Let me go to the other side here. And again, just turn you a little bit. We just basically take this portion make a loop. We pinch the standing line. We make a loop, as you can see, and we just run the working in or the running in through here twice and pull it tight. All right, guys, and there you have it, your trucker's hitch. And of course, I have a prusik knot here and a prusik knot here. So guys, what I'm going to do now is make the first shelter, which is going to be a lean-to with an apron. The tarp is on the ground, so let's get started. All right, guys, so again, this is the first portion of the convertible shelter. And this, again, this is going to be the portion that is a lean-to with an apron. So I have a prusik knot, and what I'm going to do is find some of Mother Nature. And I'm going to use this to secure this portion. So put the prusik knot through put the tie out, the tarp tie out through the prusik knot, and just pull that somewhat tight. I'm going to go to the other end and do the same thing. Make sure you're in focus here. Okay, the same thing. Prusik knot through the tie out. Mother Nature, go through the prusik knot, pull this tight. There we have the beginning of all right, guys, I'm going to go to the rear and secure it. Okay, guys, I'm going to secure the first corner. I have 5 of them to do. So here's the first one. Just stick it down. Here is the next one. As you can see, that's the first 2. So I'm going to go ahead and secure this back, and we will be back. Okay, guys, as you can see, there are 5 tie outs that are staked down. So our next chore is to make the apron portion. And here's where we start, on the lean-to with an apron. Okay, in making the lean-to with an apron, I just basically put some paracord through the tie out, made an overhand knot, wrapped it around the end twice, and used a trucker's hitch along with a trekking pole. So I'm going to do that on the other side and bring you along. All right, guys, so here I'm just going to take a piece of 10 feet of paracord. Just tie a small overhand knot here. Take the trekking pole, wrap this around twice. And now I'm going to stake it out using a tent peg and a trucker's hitch. All right, guys, so here is the taut line. Again, that's 1, 2, 3. That's the working end or the running end. Over the standing end. Through the loop and pull. And as you can see, this tightens up. All right, so there you have it. Taut line hitch. Okay. All right, guys, this is the first part of the convertible shelter. Now, as you can see, there is a lot of room under this lean-to. A lot of room, very well covered. However, since this is a 10 by 10 tarp, the middle would serve very well right now as a rain catchment, but I'm going to use some of Mother Nature and raise this portion. So come along with me. Hey guys, the tool that I'm going to use just to chop a piece of wood is I believe this is 14 inches machete. So let me just chop this real quick. Easily done. All right, guys, as you can see, this lean-to with an apron has been completed. Again, here's some of Mother Nature to put a rise in the apron. 2 trekking poles, a trekking pole on each end, and a very, very spacious shelter. Very spacious here. 2 people comfortably. But let me just show you the entire shelter. That's a side view. View from the rear. So guys, this would be very comfortable with a fire right here. But also, if I were in this shelter and rain started to come from this direction, I can easily make this into an A-frame by simply just removing the trekking pole and Mother Nature. So let's try that and I'll show you exactly what I mean. We are now going to go to an A-frame. All right, guys, so you've just seen the lean-to with an apron, which will provide you with a lot of cover. That's going to protect you from rain. You can use it to collect water. It's going to block the wind. But what happens when the wind is coming from the east or the west and the wind is coming in on you? That is the time that an A-frame will I think would be the right shelter. So easily being able to convert a lean-to with an apron or without an apron, it's very, very easy. So I'm going to go through this process with you and bring you along. So basically you just put tent stakes in the tie out. And it's that easy. I'm going to do that for the other 4. Bring it back. We'll take a look at the inside of the second portion of a convertible shelter. All right, guys, here is the A-frame that has been converted from the lean-to with an apron. Now, with this second half of the shelter being placed in front of you to block the wind, this is a very, very safe shelter. It offers a lot of space and you are definitely covered from rain, snow, sunshine. And look at the room that's in here. That's quite a bit of room. Both sides look alike, but this is part of the survival shelter kit. Being able to make 3 different shelters in a matter of minutes. To convert this from the lean-to with an apron to an A-frame was less than 10 minutes. And this was just done by removing the trekking poles and the middle pole and adding 5 stakes to tie it down. So guys, this is a good reason, again, why I say come out and practice. Because if you don't have the space as I do living in the suburbs, you won't have all of this available to you. Sure, you can do it in your backyard, but I think it's a lot more educational and it's a lot more fun actually being in the bush. So let's just say now we have the wind blocked from east to west or north to south. But what happens if the wind comes from either direction. But let's just go inside of it first. Okay guys, I am actually inside of the A-frame shelter, and I may as well take advantage of some rest time right now. Here again, as you see, I'm covered from both sides. But let's talk a little bit about bedding. Now, again, shelter, bedding, and fire. With a survival shelter kit, you preferably will want bedding that is off the ground. Now, I have made some videos where the bedding is off the ground, but in this scenario, I think the best thing to do would be to get 2 logs, at least 2 inches of hardwood, and at least 2 logs that are 4 feet wide. Make some notches, putting the 8 feet logs on top of the 4 feet and binding them together by using square knots. This will lift you off the ground, because you want to be off the ground at least 4 inches. If not, plastic bags, trash bags that are 5 gallon, fill them up with leaves. And you would then have, you want to make them, fill them up enough to be at least 4 inches off the ground. So you will not get the conduction. So in my case right now, what I'm using is a bedroll. This bedroll is efficient for cold weather. But if it's extremely cold, I'm going to have 3 5-gallon bags filled with leaves. And that is going to be my bedding. So again, shelter, bedding, and fire. But what happens if the wind is coming from that direction or this direction? Then it is time to make an enclosed shelter known as the Forrester. So I'm going to make that shelter. I'm going to convert the A-frame into a Forrester. Now, if you haven't seen my previous video on the Forrester shelter, I'm going to show it to you again. Basically, what I'm going to do is remove this tent peg and the tent peg over there. I'm going to remove the prusik knot in Mother Nature and bring it in and close this off, and do the same for the front. So let me get started and I'll bring you back. All right guys, as part of the survival shelter kit, I have completed the third portion of the shelter. I've gone from a lean-to with an apron with a view in the front and on both sides, very much opened. It's a great wind protector. It's a great, well, not a great wind protector, but a good rain protector. But with a 10 by 10 or larger, it's a very, very good protector. So I went from making a lean-to with an apron to an A-frame, which will keep rain off of me on 2 sides. And that is that's very, very sufficient. But if the weather is blowing east to west or changing from north to south, you still want to be covered. And that is where the Forrester Shelter comes into play. Now, these are all shelters that I highly encourage that you come out into the bush and practice. Now, let me show you how I converted the A-frame to the Forrester. I basically had to not use the last two tie outs. So I had to go into the middle tie out and the two on both sides. Now, as you see, the rear is fully enclosed with a door. If I want to open this door, I can just remove this tent peg and open this door. But let me show you the front of it. The front of it operates just like the rear. This is the entrance. And I could actually keep this open and I actually could keep this open. But if I want to be fully enclosed because of the weather, I would simply take, well, let me put you in focus. Okay, if I wanted to go in, I can easily go in here and I can be fully enclosed. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go inside. I am fully enclosed now. So the way to secure it, I'm going to go to the grommets, the tie outs at the bottom. I'm going to take it here at the bottom. These two, I'm just going to stake them in. And I'm just going to take this paracord and close the door. I am totally enclosed. Totally enclosed, away from the wind or the rain or anything of that nature. So here again, you can see just from being in here, I do have some flooring here. There's flooring here. And there is flooring here. And again, this drawstring closes that door. Very little wind will come in. So guys, this is again why I think it's so important to just come out and practice. Again, basically what I wanted to feature today, again, was a convertible shelter from a lean-to with an apron to an A-frame to a Forrester. Those are your choices, and you can put all of these up within a matter of, I think the Forrester is probably 10 minutes, but it's well worth it. So again, bedding, I just use a rolled mat, a rolled bed. If it's colder and it warrants, I will get 3 trash bags, 3 5-gallon trash bags, and fill them up with leaves. Fill them up with leaves because I want to be at least 4 inches off the ground. Or you can make a suspended bed. I have made them before, but I think that is warranted if you're staying overnight. So the next thing with this kit is fire. We must have a fire during any kind of bad weather, cold weather. We need fire to cook. We need fire to purify water. We need fire for comfort, just security, serenity. I think it's kind of hard to come out into the bush and not make a fire. So I'm going to hop out of my exclusive Forrester shelter, and I'm going to start preparing to make a fire. Again, panoramic view. Again, the back door is closed. Okay guys, I want to talk to you about the third portion of the survival shelter kit, which is fire. I've got to put a layer of clothing back on because kind of breezy, you know, this being October, we're supposed to be getting snow anytime. So, but anyway, the third part, which is very important, is fire. Now, the thing with fire, you want to make sure you find a good location. A good location meaning not around a, well, not around, well, I'm not a fan of being around a lot of dry pine, but you want to find a good location. I'm in a good location now, and you always want to build a fire ring or a fire pit. The fire pit and the fire ring will actually help control the fire and keep it from getting out of place. Now, some things you should always have with you when you are making a fire is a container with water. This is 40 ounces. And I usually bring 40 ounces to help extinguish the fire, and a shovel. So you want to have these two things with you when you are going to make a fire in a safe place using a fire ring or a fire pit. These are things that you definitely need. Now, when making the fire, there are 5 things that you definitely need. You need something that is combustible. I prefer a ferrocerium rod, or you can use matches, or you can use matches or lighter. Now I'll use matches or lighters to light a candle at night or something of that nature, but I like to keep those 2 resources as my last resort. Excuse me. But you want to have something that is combustible, that will throw a spark. Now you want to throw the spark onto tinder, something that is fluffy, something that will catch that spark. However, you also can use hand sanitizer because it has alcohol in it, but something fluffy. Fat wood dust, cotton balls and Vaseline, the man-made fire starters, use that as tinder. But then when the ferrocerium rod throws a spark into the tinder, it creates a flame, and you need something for that flame to catch, which is your kindling. And you want to start off with twigs, something that is very small, maybe pencil size to your little finger size. That is your kindling. Once your kindling has caught a flame, you want to use fuel. Now that can be at least 1 inch. That fuel will be used to sustain your fire. And of course, we're going to need air or oxygen to have a sustainable fire. So again, you're going to need something combustible. You're going to need tinder, something fluffy. You're going to need kindling, small kindling as twigs. Then you're going to go to fuel, something that's at least an inch in diameter, and that is all going to be used with oxygen/air. That is a way to sustain a good campfire. So with that, let's get started on one. All right, guys, here is my fire pit. I have elected to use a fire pit because where I am, there are no rocks that are readily available. So I have my fire pit, I have my water, I have my shovel right here, and now I'm going to go harvest some wood. I'm going to use this saw. So I have a little trick over there that I'm going to try. So let me take you over there and I'll explain it to you. Hey guys, I really don't have that much to cook today, so I'm not going to need a lot of wood. But I have found out something that's going to help me saw wood much quicker and much more efficiently. And I've just taken 2 pieces of paracord, use a lark's head, and to hold the wood that I'm going to saw. So I'm going to go ahead and saw some of this wood, and then when I finish, I'm going to take this apart and show you the lark head knots that I use. But let me show you how this is going to help me. This is a rather large piece of wood, so I'm going to adjust it. Very helpful. The wood is much more stable. I can make shorter pieces of wood, cut shorter pieces. Hey guys, this is what I use to assist me in sawing the wood. If you notice, there's a log that comes to the ground. Here's a log that goes to the ground as well. And if you notice, this is 550 paracord that I used. So how this works is by simply taking a log, sitting it right here, And this allows you to cut a saw wood much easier. So as you see again, sits right here, sits right there. Allows you to saw, gives you plenty room. So let me disassemble this. I'm going to show you the lark's head. So let me put you in focus. All right guys, so basically what I did, just got 2 logs. And this is just a lark's head. Just take this, put it around the tree. Well, first of all, you make a loop. And if you notice, guys, spare paracord. Basically what I did with the spare paracord, if you can see here, is used a constriction knot just to join these pieces together rather than toss them out. So what I did, made it large enough to go around the tree. Inside the loop. And this is what I put the log through. Lark's head. Same thing on this one. Again, extra paracord, just bind it together using a constriction knot or a granny's knot. Does not come loose. The harder you pull, the tighter it gets, but it's easy to disassemble. All right, guys, so now it's time to go split some wood. All right, guys, we are down to the component of fire now. Again, shelter, bedding, fire for a survival shelter kit. So I'm going to try to make this fast. I'm going to split some wood with a hatchet. Let me bring you along for a few pieces of wood. I think most of this wood has seen its best days. I will have a lot of chips from this piece. This is a very hard piece of wood here. Of course it has a knot, but and that's one method of splitting, but I want to try another tool I brought with me today. A machete. Just out of curiosity, here's a piece that won't go all the way down because of a knot. But it did. See if you guys can actually see this. That was a Kodak moment. Okay, I think this should suffice. Again, the two tools that I use. Very windy day. Okay, practice with your tools, a machete, a hatchet. It's time for me now to find some kindling and come back and make, it's time to find some kindling and come back and make feather sticks. Guys, again, shelter, bedding, fire, 3 components of survival shelter kit. Hey guys, well I think I've gotten everything ready for the fire except the feather sticks. So again, we got to have something that's combustible, a ferrocerium rod. We got to have our tinder, which is something that is fluffy. We got to have our kindling, which are twigs or something very, very thin. We got to have our fuel and our oxygen. So let me show you what I have so far. Kindling. This is kindling. Our twigs that's more kindling, just a somewhat larger. That's our fuel. And now I'm going to make some tinder. So let me bring you along with me really quickly. Let's see if I can put you in focus here. Yeah, let me just put on some gloves real quick. And the knife that I'm using, it is a Condor Wayfinder. It's a Scandinavian grind. It's a drop point, a 5-inch blade. Nice Scandi grind. Wooden handles. Has a place to make a boat for a bow drill spindle. So quickly, let's just see. Again, I'm using the bandana just to catch all the shavings. This is what it's starting to look like so far. I'm going to turn this upside down. Again, these will be needed to catch the flame from the tinder, from the twigs. And of course, the twigs flames are going to come from the kindling. So, guys, I'm going to do a few more of these just for practice, and once I get what I think is ample, I'll bring you back. All right, guys, I have my material for the campfire to be started. So again, this is the third portion of the survival shelter kit, and this is fire. So again, the 5 components of a fire is combustion, tinder, kindling, fuel, and air. So I'm going to go ahead and get the fire started, and I'll show you each component as we go. So the first thing that I'm going to use is combustion, which is a fair sim rod. So let me put you in focus, and we're going to get started. All right, guys. This is a ferrocim rod that is part of a walking staff that I use. And there we go, that quick. Again, that is something that is combustible. Ferrocerium rod. And we do have the feather sticks. And we have a lot of curls. I'm going to put all the curls on here now. And to properly feed the fire, we're going to put kindling on here, which is small twigs. So let me just show you again. That is the fire that has been started using cotton balls and Vaseline with fat wood. The combustion is a ferrocerium rod. Here we have kindling, which are twigs. We have a larger kindling here. And of course there's fuel and air. So guys, that's something that's very important to not only be able to make a fire, but sustain the fire. So I'm going to put more feather sticks on here. I'm going to let this campfire build up, and I'll bring you back when it's I can already feel the heat. It's growing really well. As we add kindling, you can see how the fire just grows. So guys, when I get some coals, I'll bring you back. But this is the work of collecting and doing the 5 components of fire. Again, combustion, ferrocerium rod. You can use matches or a lighter. That ferrocerium rod throws sparks into the tinder. The tinder creates a flame. The flame lights the kindling, the twigs. The smaller twigs light the larger kindling. That kindling lights the fuel. And this is all fed off for air/oxygen. A sustainable fire. Well guys, that is the progress of the fire. So I am going to make a meal now. And I'm going to make a meal now. A very quick meal. You can't come into the bush and do all this work and not eat. So I did not bring everything I thought I did. So it's going to be a portionable, very portioned meal. So what I'm going to have, I'm going to make them into French fries. So after cleaning my hands with some hand sanitizer, I'm going to use my multi-tool. And the reason that I'm going to use the multi-tool to cut this up is because the multi-tool has a stainless steel blade, which I think is better for food prep rather than a carbon steel. So let me just put you in focus and let's start the chef tail work. It's just too nice to come into the bush and not do some food prep. Yep, this is a multi-tool, and I do use it quite often when I'm out here for nothing more than if it's just pulling up tent pegs out of the ground. So guys, these small potatoes, I'm going to finish them and I'll bring you back. Alright guys, this is what will be going into the fire. I had to put it in a pot and a pan because I had more than I anticipated, but they're still going to be good. Hey guys, well, nothing beats a hungry man. So I'm gonna have what limited food I have, because I forgot the main ingredients at home this morning. So I'm just gonna have French fries, onions, tomato, and some lettuce. That's right. Tomatoes, and the French fries. I don't know if you can see them. But that's what I'm going to have, along with some green tea. Green tea and fantastic honey. I wish I would have brought more potatoes, but I didn't. So I think the tomato, lettuce, and French fries, excuse me, will suffice. The fire was more than I needed, but that's okay, because I wanted to experiment with that new technique of sawing, putting it in between two trees, using a lark's head. Actually, I learned that from Cold Cracker. I saw him do that, so I thought I'd try it. And it works fairly well. It works well. There's always things that I'm picking up from other YouTubers. For example, I saw someone doing a Siberian hitch knot. Of course, I've heard of it. I've never tried it, but I will. Today was the first time that I used the lark's knot, and the one that I built my shelter with, I can't remember the name. So if you guys can remember, hey, drop it in the comments. I would definitely appreciate it. But there's always something to learn when it comes to bushcrafting. These potatoes are good. Yeah, guys, I forgot my main ingredient. My Beyond Burgers. Forgot them. I brought the buns and everything. Onions, lettuce, tomatoes. And the buns. I'll just take them home with me. But guys, being out in the bush is really an experience every time I come out here. Again, I think the greatest thing today was converting the tarps from a lean-to with an apron to an A-frame, and the A-frame to a Forrester totally enclosed shelter. Being able to do all three in less than an hour, less than 45 minutes, it's pretty good. But those are just options you have if the weather gets bad. You know, you have these options of going to an A-frame, a lean-to, plow point, Adirondack. There's so many different configurations. One that I haven't tried yet is the one by I believe it's old granddad. He did the taco shelter. That's a pretty cool shelter. I haven't tried it yet, but I will. So and guess what? Every time I come into the bush, these onions, I always bring toothpaste. Well, I don't bring toothpaste. I bring baking soda. I'm going to say it's a good meal. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and finish this meal. I'll see you on my second helping of tea. Still have quite a bit of tea in here. Oh, it smells so delicious. All right, guys, I'll see you after my... Well, guys, as you can see, the fire is almost out. I am full, and it's been an enjoyable day. Once again, working on the survival shelter kit, being able to convert 3 shelters. I guess that's why they call it convertible. A lean-to with an apron to an A-frame to a Forrester tarp shelter. These are good skills to practice, guys. Again, I would just like to say that if you are interested in bushcrafting, camping, survival, wilderness, one of the best places you can come is the bush. You're going to get a chance to test your skills, what you learned, how to improve things. It's all about fun. So again, I would encourage you guys to, if you're really interested in the wilderness, the bush is waiting on you. This has been an enjoyable day. Again, I did a knot that I do not remember the name of when I first started this morning, and this is the knot. It's basically the working end goes around the standing end, and then you just wrap it 7 times, pull it tight, make sure that it is against the bark of the tree, and you're good to go. So that's something I got to practice today. And again, I've done the Forrester before, Forrester enclosed shelter, Again, you know, it has a back door that I can open if I choose to. It does have a front door. Just by removing a tent peg, it opens. And you're in. So guys, again, here is the door to it. I can close it. It's just a lot of fun, guys. So hey, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my items and head out. And as you see, I do have water left over to help extinguish the fire, so I'm going to do that. Hey guys, then I'm going to pack up and I'm going to head out and look forward to the next weekend. Well guys, the fire is out, securely out, doused with water. There's nothing that feels warm. So this has been an exciting day. Again, was able to practice something that which is sorry about that, which is again a survival shelter kit. It just gives you the option of building different type of shelters that are convertible from a lean-to to an A-frame to a Forrester Tarp Shelter. And again, go over the bedding. Bedding is very important. You can have a raised bed, or you can use a bedroll, or you can use nature. Fill them up with plastic bags. Fill the plastic bags up with leaves, and you have your bed. And of course, there's your fire. As long as you know the 5 basics of the fire: combustible, tinder, kindling, fuel, and air/oxygen, you can build a sustainable fire. So guys, with that said, I'm going to trek out of here. And as always, like father and son, mother and daughter, human and nature, we are all akin in some form or fashion. Get out in the bush and have some fun. This is the Virginia Bushcrafter signing off.